Hello everyone and welcome to Farm Bureau's Voices of Agriculture, brought to you this week by the Mississippi Farm Bureau. On the show this time, we have a feature about a part-time farmer who's learning to be a full-time advocate for agriculture.
Our farmers are very important to what we do here and are very important to our state economy. And people in our state need to understand that there are farmers working 365 days a year to provide them the things that they need.
We have a story about one of the largest tea farms in the country, located right here in Mississippi.
Yeah, we just couldn't stop thinking about it. So we bought some plants, 3 plants originally, to grow in the yard just to see if they would grow. They grew fine, so we said, okay, well, let's seek out professional help with this because we don't know anything about growing them.
Then we go to Mississippi State University to meet someone who doesn't farm herself, but is still a very important person in the ag industry.
I teach a freshman level orientation to animal science where I talk a lot about career opportunities available in the animal sciences because a lot of the students that I see have no idea what career options are out there, oftentimes beyond veterinary medicine. So it's a good opportunity for me to shed some light on those opportunities available in animal sciences.
Finally, we have our Meet a Farmer segment and our cooking segment with Nancy Freeman. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
The food grown here in America is the healthiest and the safest on the planet. But what do we do as farmers to help make that food more affordable? Scientific research has developed varieties of crops that require fewer pesticides, less acreage, and less water. That keeps my production costs down and results in lower food costs for you. You want to know more? Go to growingmississippi.org and click on Ask a Farmer.
The Farm Families of Mississippi. Professionals from the ground up.
Being able to speak intelligently about agriculture is a huge plus when dealing with the public. And if that doesn't come naturally, then training is essential to be an effective advocate. The American Farm Bureau Federation created the Partners in Agricultural Leadership Program to enhance leadership skills that have been built through an individual's participation in AFBF Young Farmer and Rancher contests or the YF&R Committee. The PAL program focuses on taking young farmers and ranchers who have already begun their personal development journey and moving them to the next level. Julie White from Oktibbeha County is Mississippi's first participant in the program.
The PALS program is a 2-year program. I'll actually graduate in Washington, D.C. at the Advocacy Conference. When we got started, our first trip was in June of last year to New York, where we focused on media and how to do interviews and things like that. And then we went to D.C. in September and learned about the legislative process and actually spent some time on the Hill with our congressional delegation from our states. And so it kind of gave us a better idea of how the process goes from the grassroots end all the way to the legislative end in D.C.
The 2-year program includes international travel. Julie's class went to Brazil to get an international perspective on how things that happen there affect us here in the United States, and vice versa.
It was a very, very educational experience and got to see a lot of cool things that I have not seen before and spent a lot of time out on row crop farms there, but also to see farms that actually take it from the actual producing it there on their farm and straight to the consumers.
Julie's class also studied GMOs, so one of their trips was to Monsanto's facilities in Hawaii.
We spent the entire week we were in Hawaii looking at ways to interact with consumers and why it's important for us as farmers and agriculturalists to interact with those consumers and to figure out ways that we can do that without offending them.
Part of her training was to create some short videos to promote stories to TV reporters or for social media. Here are a couple of examples.
There's a lot of buzz right now in Mississippi about the decline in bees. Hi, I'm Julie White with the Mississippi State University Extension Service. Bees play an important role in our environment, and there are many ways that we can all help to protect them. Please contact me for more information about our role in the Mississippi Bee Stewardship Program. Let's all work together to keep our bees buzzing. I'm Julie White with the Mississippi State University Extension Service. Have you ever wondered where your clothes and food comes from? Did chocolate milk come from these brown cows? Or was it simply added to their milk at the milk plant? Did cotton come from sheep, or did it really grow on a plant? For more information on where your food and clothes come from, visit us at farmtastic.msucares.com to find a Farmtastic location near you so you can experience Mississippi agriculture at your fingertips.
So after graduation, Julie says she wants to be involved in helping Farm Bureau promote agriculture any way she can.
Our farmers are very important to what we do here and are very important to our state economy. And people in our state need to understand that there are farmers working 365 days a year to provide them the things that they need. And whether that means that our State Farm Bureau utilizes me in their legislative process or doing videos for them or just being out in the public at public events promoting agriculture, I just hope that our State Farm Bureau utilizes me. And if any county farm bureaus are needing somebody to come and speak or do things for them or to help them figure out ways they can promote in their county, I'd be happy to do that.
We'll have more of Voices of Agriculture right after these messages.
As a row crop farmer, I use technology every day to help me grow my crops. Advances in biotechnology allow me to plant seeds that are healthier and require fewer inputs to help them grow. This technology has been used for more than 20 years. It's been proven safe in a 2-year study by the National Academy of Sciences. I'm committed to providing you with the safest product possible while at the same time protecting the land for future generations.
The Farm Families of Mississippi, professionals from the ground up.
Hurricane Katrina blasted Mississippi agriculture in 2005, taking out crops, livestock, buildings, trees, and fences all across the southern half of the state. But believe it or not, despite all that destruction, Katrina spurred a new venture. After losing 75% of his timber to the hurricane, a Lincoln County landowner searched for a new crop and came up with growing tea leaves. The specialty tea market is growing at about 8 to 10% per year, according to a study for the Tea Association of the USA. There's money to be made because more and more Americans are willing to pay premium prices for what they consider to be top quality teas. It was that knowledge that led Timothy Gibson and his business partner Jason McDonald, who's co-owner of the Great Mississippi Tea Company, to get started in this business.
Jason was in Savannah and saw a tea bag in his room that said Charleston Tea Plantation, the only tea plantation in the United States. He called me and said, I want to go take a look at it. So I flew up there, met him. We went to see it. They said it was a camellia bush, needed high heat, high humidity, and acidic soil. So we have all of that here.
Yes, we have that in spades. So after talking with a few friends and family members, they were very excited.
I mean, we just couldn't stop thinking about it. So we bought some plants, 3 plants originally, to grow in the yard just to see if they would grow. They grew fine, so we said, okay, well, let's seek out professional help with this because we don't know anything about growing them. We put out notice on a website on Facebook, Let's Grow Tea, and that's how we met our tea consultant that we have, which is Nigel Melican, and he is from London. So we ended up sourcing plants, waited a year, got those in, which are the bushes behind me, were the original ones that we got in for the first planting. And from there, it just took off.
The 1/4 acre that you see here is the total crop for Gibson right now. That may not seem like a lot, but you can get a ½ pound of tea per bush per year. So this 1/4 acre is producing 20 to 25 pounds per year, but it's all hand harvested.
Hand plucking as we do now, you can actually pretty much pluck every other day. I mean, it's constantly growing. Once we have the machine harvester, it's every 14 to 21 days because it cuts everything off that table where hand plucking, you don't get everything. Once you have all the automation that goes with it, it becomes a lot less labor intensive, but mechanical harvesting and everything does not become economically feasible until 5 acres. And you can't hand pluck anymore really after 2 acres. So there's a gap there between 2 and 5.
Learning how to produce the final product was a process of trial and error, but they've got it down to a science now.
For us, we pluck the leaf, We take it to the tea shed. It gets put on withering tats and they wither down depending on which type we're making. Will depend on how long it goes on there. Once that's done, it's either steamed, slightly oxidized, or fully oxidized. Then it is dried, and then from drying it, you can go ahead and taste it that day. It's going to taste completely different in about 2 weeks. But you taste it when it's first done to see if there's any problems whatsoever. And then in 2 weeks it matures. So you have a better flavor in 2 weeks than you do when you first get it done.
Currently, Gibson and McDonald produce only 3 kinds of tea: green tea, oolong tea, and black tea.
Our green is 175-degree water for 4 minutes. Our oolong is 195 for 4 minutes. And our black tea is boiling, which is 212 for 5 minutes. Our teas are also done by trial by fire, which when they first are done and everything's ready, you put boiling water on green, oolong, or black, doesn't matter. You do double strength, so for every 2 ounces of tea, you do 100 milliliters of water. And anything that's wrong with it whatsoever comes out in that flavor. So even if you as a consumer took your green tea and stuck it in boiling water for 5 minutes, my green tea is going to taste okay still. It's not going to be bad, but it's better at 175. So we test all of them to make sure. So if you just royally screw it up, you're still going to have a good taste.
All 3 of the teas have won awards recently.
We took first in black, first in oolong, and first and second in green. And then we just won another award with the help of a group, Millennia Tea from Canada, using our leaf. We did their process, sent the leaf to them. They bagged it and everything else and took care of that part of it, and it actually won an award at the World Tea Expo this year. So.
In the future, Gibson and McDonald would like to expand to about 28 acres near their current plot, but that's a few years down the road.
By the time we're finished, we will be as large as Charlton Tea Plantation. Eventually there'll be a visitor center and everything for when people come by, tour groups, school events, all kinds of stuff, so that people could come out to the farm.
For now, though, tea lovers can scramble for their teas on the Great Mississippi Tea Company Facebook page and website. It's possible to have someone who makes a huge impact on an industry, but not be someone who produces that industry's main commodity. Take agriculture, for example. Farmers do the on-farm work, and that's who people associate with agriculture. But there are a multitude of people who are part of agriculture, just not on the front lines. Jessica Graves is an undergraduate coordinator and instructor in the Department of Animal and Dairy Sciences at Mississippi State University, where she's been working since 2013. Her primary responsibility is advising students and teaching classes. All of her teaching is at the undergraduate level.
I teach a freshman level orientation to animal science, where I talk a lot about career opportunities available in the animal sciences, because a lot of the students that I see have no idea what career options are out there, oftentimes beyond veterinary medicine. So it's a really a good opportunity for me to shed some light on those opportunities available in animal sciences.
She also teaches a senior level capstone class that deals with advocacy for agriculture in the community.
Students work alongside community partners and are given a challenge, a real-world challenge. And it's a really exciting class to teach because it kind of puts the students out of their comfort zone a bit and challenges them to really think like professionals and have to brainstorm and think critically and really do some problem solving. And I feel like that's a really important class that needs to be taught in such manner so that the students are really prepared for what real life work is going to be like.
In her advising capacity, she's helping current students and recruiting new ones.
Oftentimes I have a prospective student come to my office, and it may be a prospective student and their families, and they're here for recruiting purposes, or it may be a current student looking to change their major into animal and dairy sciences. But yes, we oftentimes will have a conversation in my office about the curriculum and scholarship availability and things to that nature. But then I really enjoy taking the students out to the farm units and allowing them to really get a good understanding of where their classes will be taught and the things that they'll get to do, the animals they'll get to handle. I really feel like it puts those two things together, and so students, prospective students or current students, really understand that they're not just simply going to be sitting in a classroom for 4 years, that they're able to get that hands-on experience. My philosophy is that we learn by doing oftentimes, and so I enjoy being able to help facilitate that and make sure that our students get a sound hands-on learning opportunity on the farm.
One of the big advantages that Mississippi State has over other ag programs is their location and layout.
I definitely believe that we are blessed here at Mississippi State because our farm units are so close in proximity to main campus. So I oftentimes tell students, you can be in a statistics course on main campus and then go to the farm for an afternoon lab and then go back to main campus if you need to. So we definitely have a lot of resources here at our disposal for teaching purposes and research purposes, and the students really get to take advantage of that for academic reasons and also for jobs. You know, we employ a lot of students on the farm units, and so that's just one more thing to get them some experience.
Oftentimes, she gets to play tour guide to high school students, FFA groups, 4-H groups, and others. She tries to give them an understanding of what life is like here at Mississippi State.
Especially in the Animal and Dairy Sciences department, where we do have those farm resources for teaching purposes and research. But it's such a cool thing because the students really, many students have never had the opportunity to even touch a cow or a horse, and so being able to see them just light up and have that opportunity to touch an animal for the first time, especially a large cow or a steer, it just blows them away because they've never had that experience. Our holy cow, actually a holy steer, we use the cannulated or fistulated steers oftentimes to educate the students not only on animal nutrition and kind of the purpose of that from a research perspective, but also it's a cool experience for students to be able to put their hand inside of a cow or a steer, because that's not something that you just walk around in the pasture and do every day. So it's definitely a thrill for many.
Jessica did her master's work by doing research that could help producers on the farm because
I'm not on the farm every single day, but I want to know that what I'm doing from an education standpoint is being done to provide information for those producers, the ones that are out there doing it day in and day out. And so allowing students to get their hands dirty in research is also something that is I think that we do very well. So it's really fun to be able to say, you know, to see a student take that opportunity and do some research and fall in love with it, because we need more people that have a passion for research and that have a passion for bettering our industry and especially working with producers.
We'll have more of Voices of Agriculture right after this timeout. Stay with us.
Nothing makes your mouth water like a thick, juicy steak. Brought to you by Mississippi farmers.
My animals are one of the largest investments I have on the farm. I visit them every day to make sure they're eating right and have plenty of fresh water. Keeping them in top condition is important because a healthy animal means healthy food for my family as well as yours. I treat these cows right, not just because it's the smart thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
In our Meet a Farmer segment, we meet a produce farmer from North Mississippi.
Traditionally, we're a cotton, corn, soybean farm. Prices got a little low, margins got a little thin, so I decided this land here was going to lay out. So I decided I'll just try some of these, truck patching, so to speak. And it's turned into way more than just a truck patch. We've picked corn for 3 weeks, picked squash for a month and a half. Watermelons, we'll start picking those this coming Saturday. We've got tomatoes, bell peppers, cayenne peppers, and peas and butter beans. We're done with everything except the watermelons.
And if that's not enough, he's also got sweet potatoes, honeybees, and a small herd of cattle.
Typical day, me and the crew meet at the shop 5:30 in the morning. We'll come down here and pick vegetables for 2 hours, and then we'll go hoe for 2 hours, whichever, depending on what needs hoeing. A lot of this you can't put chemicals on that people won't buy it if you got herbicides and insecticides and stuff like that, which we do put out some fungicides. This time of year it gets hot and dry, we'll start cutting hay. When it gets too hot to stay in the fields, we'll go get on a tractor and cut hay, rake hay, bale hay, and start all over tomorrow. We have cattle that are calving, well, just got through calving, and that's usually the first thing I do in the morning. Check the cows, make sure nothing's having problems, and then the crew and I get together and decide what needs doing.
Justin is also the chairman of the county YF&R committee.
I love being involved with the Farm Bureau. Suzanne and I love going to the conventions and meeting young farmers and old farmers. We love meeting people that do the same thing that we do. And we don't have a whole lot of opportunity to do that out here every day. So, when there's a convention somewhere, we try to participate.
Justin's wife, Suzanne, is a stay-at-home mom and helps with all the operations on the farm. They have 2 children, Andy, who is 4, and 2-year-old Bailey. And when it comes to his family, Justin really has his priorities straight.
It really doesn't matter what I think, it's what my wife thinks. She loves it. She loves it. It is, she eats it up. She loves the farmer's market. She loves dealing with people. She loves bringing us lunch at lunchtime. It's 15 of us out here most of the time. And she brings lunch for all 15 of us. And she eats it up. She loves it.
You've all heard of French onion soup, but I wonder if you've ever tried French onion rice. In our Mississippi on the Menu segment, Nancy Freeman prepares this wonderful and easy rice dish.
Counties in northwest Mississippi are the home to the majority of rice producers here in the state of Mississippi. And in 2016, Bolivar County was the top producing county. We have 259 rice farming families here in our state, and this past year in 2016, they brought in $139 million in production value to our state. There's thousands of jobs there because of the rice farming industry, on and off the farm both, because rice ranks among our top ag exports. So look for Mississippi rice as part of your family meals. Here's an example of one of our great Mississippi rices. This is Delta Blues rice. It's harvested, grown, and milled here in the state, and you want to look for rice that's grown here in the state to support our farmers. It comes in different varieties. You'll find it also in the brown rice as well as other varieties to look for. So check out our Mississippi farmers and what they have to offer. We're going to make a French onion rice. Now, we've had French onion soup in the past, but why not have a rice? This is a great addition to a family meal. We're going to start with a cup of uncooked Mississippi rice. To this, we're going to add a can of French onion soup mix. And we're going to add a can of beef broth. We stir this gently just to make sure everything's equal and exposed to the flavors. And once we have that done, we're going to take a stick of butter, and I've cut it up into slices, and you just place it on top. It'll just float around in there. And the nice thing about it, it's going to give it a really rich, good flavor in there. And of course, be sure you use Mississippi butter. You want to support our dairy farmers as well. Rice is one of those foods that pairs well with so many different foods, and it's known for that ability, as well as the fact that it's gluten-free and it's the least allergenic of all the grains that we have. This is going to go into the oven. It'll bake for 30 minutes covered. You uncover it for another 30 minutes, and it's great. Check it out at our website at growingmississippi.org for this recipe and some other information about our wonderful rice here in the state. Enjoy a little bit with your family meals.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Voices of Agriculture. We hope you've enjoyed the show and will be with us again next time. For all of us here at the Mississippi Farm Bureau, thanks for watching.